The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast for this week. My name's JD. I'll be your host, and once again, Kyle was not able to be here, mostly because he didn't watch the movie that we're reviewing this week. But in his stead, we have my lovely wife, Melanie, and my good friend, Nolan.
Wait, is that me?
Yes.
Oh.
You're the only other person here.
So, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yes, we are talking about Studio Trigger's first feature animated film, Promare. And I gotta just say up front, this movie was bananas.
Oh my god. I had no idea what we were getting into.
Yeah, so I wanted to say I'm not sponsored by them, but I would like to if they want to be. But I love Fathom events because I just think what they do is really cool because they do all these like anniversary screenings for old movies, and then they do stuff like this where they bring over like anime and just like lesser known animated films and like give you the opportunity to see them on the big screen, which is what we did to see Promare this past week. So I bought tickets to this movie like a month ago, and Melanie had no idea what it was.
Yeah, we went to go see it. Like, hey, Trigger's in a movie, let's see it. And I was like, okay. And then you were like, we're going to the movie tonight. And I was like, oh yeah. So then we went, and I hadn't even looked at a picture. I hadn't even watched a trailer. I had zero knowledge going into this.
Yeah. So that was fun to watch.
I have to say, I fucking loved it. It was such a trip, dude.
Is this your first Trigger anime, or
No.
have you seen like? Okay,
I've seen all of it.
Yeah, Mel's watched all of Kill la Kill. I haven't seen all of it, and then we watched Little Witch Academia. So we're well acquainted with Trigger's insanity. And old Gynax stuff.
So of course, like FLCO was pretty bananas too.
Yeah, Gynax and Trigger are just crazy people, basically.
Yeah.
I miss Panty and Stocking. We're never getting that second season.
No, they're totally trolling you.
God,
I think they did it on purpose.
Probably.
I know. Even still,
it's just a big fucking troll.
Yeah. But Nolan, what are your base thoughts about this movie?
it was all right.
All right.
Seeing it in a theater definitely improved the experience a lot, because I feel like Trigger stuff deserves to be big screen material regardless of what it is. Like, I feel like a big screen, like we're surrounded by people who enjoy the same stuff, really helps the experience. But the more I looked back on it, the more I just was thinking about, like, well, I mean, would I like it the same if I had seen it like on my rinky-dink computer, just like in my room? And I was like, not really, because it's sort of just like it really just feels like a vertical slice of everything that Imaishi has done. It has it has a shit ton of references. Like it feels derivative of like its own works, and it feels like it's like cannibalizing Trigger a lot
too.
Yeah.
When we were leaving the theater, I was like, there's like a fuck ton of Kill la Kill references, like even the characters.
Well, yeah, because
look.
Yeah, because like the guy who directed this was the one who made Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill, and I was even saying like the main guy in this movie looks like Kamina from Gurren Lagann. The main
personality's like the same.
He's literally just Kamina in everything but name. Like, and he talks the same as him too. Like, he has the same. He has the same sort of like vocal pattern.
Passion heart.
Yeah.
Point your drill to the sky. And then like the main bad guy is like the muscly guy from Kill la Kill. the blonde guy. I don't know their
He's a
names.
student. He's like the student council president. Or
Yeah, one of those guys.
Yeah, like Satsuki. He's basically Satsuki.
Satsuki.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's there was a lot of like character design references that carried over into this, which I think
Lots of
for
archetypes.
yeah, a lot of archetypes. So I thought that was cool. Like just as a slight nod to like Trigger and this director's previous works. Like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the main pink-haired chick was basically just Yoko, like,
Yeah.
even in outfit.
Yeah, no,
like,
no, straight up Yoko, just straight up Yoko.
Like
I think
personality,
even the
just
dub voice had the same voice actors.
Oh,
maybe?
really?
I don't know. It sounded very similar, and like obviously, Trigger doesn't do the dub, but I just found it funny that she sounded so similar to Yoko.
So
Michelle
maybe
Ruff.
we
who
should
does
explain
Rick
what
Jones.
this movie is and what it's about.
Okay, so I want to kind of know if there's another anime out right now called Fire Force,
Yeah.
and I want to know which of these like kind of came first, because
I'm gonna look it up.
I've only seen the first episode of Fire Force, and there is a lot of parallels between their. I mean, I'm sure Fire Force and Promare go off in two completely different directions, but the fact that the main conceit is that just one day, humanity starts spontaneously combusting and catching on fire, which leads to this specialized firefighting force to combat these fucking fire demons that everyone's turning into.
So this says Fire Force started being serialized in 2015.
All right then. So I don't know how long Trigger's been working on this, but I obviously I don't think that like Trigger or the Soul Eater guy copied one or the other, but I just think it's fun. I think it's funny that Fire Force is getting so much attention now because the anime just came out and Promare came out this year, and they just kind of came out around the same time and have like the same kind of like
odd that they're both very about human combustion
and superhero firefighters.
That's just an odd
coincidence.
If you want an even odder one, there's Dennis the Menace, and Dennis the Menace in the UK both came out around the same time. Like, and this was back when the internet wasn't a thing, so these guys just had the same exact idea at the same time and had the same character name.
That's really weird.
That's so strange.
Inspiration is very strange. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, in Promare, one day I'm getting it. People got so like pissed off about in their lives that they just like start shooting fire out of their mouths.
Yeah, they were triggered. Literally, get it?
They were triggered. Banned. Yeah, and so the whole like half of the world like gets caught on fire or some shit, and so it leads to years later. This like special firefighting force has to be set up to like combat these people who have these weird fire abilities. And then it gets into some weird shit. Like it's Studio Trigger. It's gonna get into some weird shit.
This says Promare was announced at the 2017 Anime Expo as an original blah 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 that has been in production for over 4 years.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Nah.
So Fire Force wins.
Fire Force came out in 2015. They announced in 2017 it had been in production for over 4 years. So wait, does that mean they had started production before 2017?
Maybe, but if they're just announcing it in 2017,
so they must have been working on it for 2 years.
I don't know.
And then it was released. So it was like the exact same time as Fire Force.
That's weird, man.
It's weird.
Weird.
Just is odd. I don't know.
I don't think it even really matters. It's probably just a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just coincidence. But
whatever, anyway. So tell us about the movie, honey.
Yeah, well, I mean that's more or less what the movie is, and we can get into more of the nitty gritty as we go on. But
like you missed like a huge amount.
I said we'll get into the nitty gritty as we go on. Jesus.
Do you want me to do it, JD? Do you want me to fucking do this right? Jesus.
No. But I wanted to,
on the topic.
I kind of wanted to circle back to what Nolan was saying, is that I definitely think a lot of my enjoyment of this movie came from seeing on the big screen because
Probably right.
just the first 20 minutes, this movie like drops you right into an action sequence and it goes for about 15-20 minutes and does not stop.
I for a minute was like, is this the whole movie?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I thought it was like a short film or something. Like, is this a short film? And no, it was not short.
No.
It's not short.
And it's like...
it's not very often movies just start like that.
Yeah. It's not so much that it's like starts like that. It's for like, it just kept going.
Yeah.
And like...
At first I was like, whoa. Am I missing something here? Like...
Yeah, like that fight scene at the beginning just keeps going and going. And like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every minute of it, but it's like, wow.
We had also said that thank God we watched the dub version.
Oh yeah.
Because holy fucking shit. I think I would have passed out. Like
trying to read subtitles and pay attention.
Way too much happening. Like I would have probably had an overload.
Yeah, just like in this first fight scene, I'm just constantly impressed with Trigger's just
cinematography.
Yeah, that's probably a good word for it, because this entire fight scene is like the camera is like it's all 2D. Well, for the most part, there's a few like cell shaded 3D stuff in there, but for the most part,
there is.
I was gonna say I thought it was pretty half and half 3D 2D.
Yeah, but
I almost felt like there was more 3D.
Yeah, but like the camera is just constantly whipping around with people just throwing things and stuff's exploding, but I never for a second was lost following the action.
Yeah.
Like I could still follow everything. Like I feel like a lot of Hollywood movies, especially like more like live action stuff, like rely so much on cuts that you kind of lose the flow of action.
I also think a lot of it has to do with, I think they are so good at their colors, because the fire was like not like a normal fire color.
Yeah, it's like a purple and blue kind of color.
Yeah, when they're fighting, like the main, that first scene, the guy's in black, and so he's very easily seen in the fire. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And like, then the firefighters have like this very bright red and white.
Yeah, so it's like really easy, in my opinion, to see where the characters are.
Mm-hmm.
It also helps. I personally thought it was a little difficult to follow, but I could follow it. It was just like, oh shit. But
well, yeah, if you blink, it's like
you missed 3 things.
Fuck, they're already in the ocean or something. I don't know. So there'd be a couple of scenes where I said to JD, I was like, holy crap, I'm dizzy. And I'd have to just kind of like close my eyes a second, and then when I'd open it, I would just kind of hope that the characters would still exist.
Still be doing something.
So I could follow them again, because it was insane. I was like, this needs like a seizure warning.
But I do appreciate that, like, after that, that first initial fight scene, they do give you a little bit of time just kind of relax. Like not like a long enough time. I feel like it's a good, 5-10 minutes before they like jump into another action piece. But this movie has a good flow in the sense where like it'll give you this giant over the top action sequence and just give you a little bit of time to relax, have some character moments, and jump right back into some crazy shit action and just kind of go up and down with that.
So the movie follows this main guy who's like a firefighter who's basically just the guy from Gurren Lagann. And the main antagonists are the people who spontaneously combust, and they have been able to learn to control the fire. And they are called the Burnish. And it's like a whole group of people. And they sort of like introduce it as they're a big terrorist group.
Some of them are.
Well, that's how they make you believe.
Yeah, they basically
make you believe every single one is like a fucked up, like, evil
it's
person.
Racial commentary. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my god. And so you immediately, oh my god, that's the terrorist group leader. So like right off the bat, you're like, holy shit. And they catch the leader, and basically as you follow the movie, you learn, okay, well, these people aren't actually evil.
Yeah.
It just gets weirder from there.
maybe they're doing their terrorist quotey fingers acts for a reason. Maybe.
Well, I gotta say though, the explanation the main terrorist guy gave wasn't really that justifiable. I thought he was like, "We hear voices that tell us to burn things," and I was like, "There's medicine."
Some
for
might
that.
call it schizophrenia.
I mean, it's supposed to be foreshadowing, but when you don't have that context, you're like, wait a minute.
Literally was like, the fire is speaking to us and telling us to burn, and I was just like, okay, friend.
Yeah.
That's not really a good excuse, in my opinion.
But like he said, like he makes sure that their humans have a way out. Like when they.
He taking precautions.
Spoiler warning, I guess, because I think we're just going to probably waltz into it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, to go into the more nitty gritty of the plot that JD said he was going to do, and then he lied.
I was getting to it.
It's up to us, Nolan.
So the fire that the Burnish are burning is actually an alien life form called the Promare.
To you in the theater, Jamie, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, remember that look I gave you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so the Promare feel the need to burn shit in order to burn out. Like, I think that's how it goes.
The way they explained it was like there was a parallel divide.
There was a dimensional hole.
There was like a dimensional rift, and somehow these alien fires got into our universe and affected a certain group of people.
Some people can resonate with them and their fire abilities.
All of a sudden, one day, there was a big, massive combust. They called the Big Burn or something.
Yeah, the Great Burn or whatever.
Great Burn or some shit.
Scorched the earth, man.
Scorched it. I don't know, but basically, everyone who has fire powers is possessed by a dimensional alien telling them that they need to burn. And it's just so out there. So and even the main character fell asleep.
I just love it. Yeah, the doctor's explaining what all this shit is, and the main character just falls asleep.
I was like, same.
Twice.
Yeah, I was like, same, friend. Like,
so I wasn't that surprised when they're like, "Hey, BT Dubs, the fire is aliens."
I was.
I only not so much that I was expecting, oh, it's aliens. I just wasn't expecting the fire that they're producing isn't actually fire. It's something else because
it's their life force.
Right. Well, it's because in the first something like that. But even this first fight, you're seeing that this fire that they can produce can create all these things. They're creating body armor and weapons and vehicles out of it. So it's this isn't just straight up fire. This is some weird magic bullshit. And then they're like aliens. I'm like, all right, that makes sense, I guess.
Honestly, this movie is so fucking out there. I didn't even notice them creating shit out of fire because honestly, it was just already insane. I didn't even register that the fire was creating things.
Yeah, the armor, and I'm like, oh, I guess
I didn't register
sense.
that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't either because I just sort of hand waved it in my head as oh, that's just a thing.
That's just their armor. Yeah, exactly the same. I was just that's what they're wearing, I guess. I didn't even. And then later when they were you can create shit, I was like, they can.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I guess they can. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Basically.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
I guess I could rewatch it and try to just dissect that. But.
Yeah. But then, you kind of find out as it goes along that maybe the Burnish aren't so bad, and maybe this. I
do want to say.
Yes.
They're still underlying everything is the need to burn shit, which is not inherently good.
But by the end, they do a good burning and reset the planet somehow.
Which, by the way,
it's
nothing got burned.
Sure, it did.
So I didn't really understand.
They burned the planet, and apparently that didn't kill anybody.
But it wasn't burned because it was the exact same.
They let their fire out like a huge, massive
cleansing
fart. And so that I guess that's what happened is that it could just go on fire.
I love how it fucking ping ponged the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of just took it as because it's not actually fire. It's like some weird energy aliens that when they start like power blasting the universe with all this shit, it's just like more of an like an energy wave rather than actual fire. And that's just like they're burning off energy rather than burning off actual fire. So
it's so fucking insane. And like, I loved the main Burnish guy. I thought he was
Leo.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Is it hot in here or is it just the Promare?
I thought it was funny because when Leo's like half his helmet got broke off, you're like, "Ooh, a lady!"
Yeah,
and then he starts talking, and then he start talking. You're like, "Oh."
I was like, "Oh, that's not a lady." Because at first I thought he was talking and it sounded all gurgly because he was in the armor, and then I was like, "Beautiful," and I was like, "That's cool."
And he starts talking,
and then it wasn't a lady.
It was a dude,
and I was like, "Listen, you can't just do that to me."
He's a very beautiful man.
He's too beautiful. Us women need some like a break here. Come on, how can we compete with such beauty?
You got ladies. The pink-haired chick who's like half naked the entire movie.
She sucks, dude. She's like
she's borderline fucking useless.
She's so stupid. And like that stupid scene where they like kind of almost kissed. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I still maintain that was completely a joke that they wanted to get out of the way. It's like, oh well, obviously Kamina guy and pink-haired girl are gonna be like, oh, are they gonna get together? And they just quash that right at the gate.
I didn't even think that was necessary. Literally everybody in the entire movie the entire time was like, this dude's a fucking moron, and I literally not once was like
he owns
obviously they want to bone him. Like
that's one thing I did like. He's aware that he's kind of a moron, but it's like, yeah, that's just who I am. I'm more about spirit and shit. He's like,
I'm like spirit of a far off island nation.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It never mentions what far off island nation it is.
I assumed it was supposed to be Japan.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a real island nation in Japan because Promare takes place in our world, like an alternate reality future, though.
Yeah, and I mean, he was referencing a Japanese thing.
I don't know. I just thought it was funny. He never mentions anything by name.
I think it was like referencing the Kagura dance or something. I don't really know.
The Matoi. I don't know why I remember that.
I don't know. I'm sure Sage, my good friend Sage, would know who was in Japan.
My good friend Sage.
My good, sagely friend.
My best good friend.
Anyway. So then, I gotta say there was a lot in this movie that was so like felt so copy pasted from everything in the universe. They're like, oh man, the governor is my hero.
Governor, thank you for giving me this medal. This reminds me of the time when I was saved by you because I am your biggest fan.
Memory here. Insert childhood trauma here.
It's like I saved you.
Also, did his family die? Was that just glossed over?
Yeah.
Like he's like, man, this amazing moment when this guy saved me and gave me a medal. Also, my family burned to death. Like
probably.
Come on,
I don't think he gives a shit, frankly.
That's never brought up.
Like, okay. Because he was like a kid when he was found.
And then he grew up in an orphanage.
I don't know. So then anyway, there's like another second firefighting force that's kind of the evil dick government fire force.
Get it?
Yeah.
They're called the Freeze Force.
The Freeze Force.
It's so hot, they're cold. Haha.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like just I felt like the relationship between the main character and the bad guy was so fucking cliche. It was like, I like this thing. Well, I disagree with your thing. We're gonna be enemy friends. Like
frenemies.
Just like, okay.
I mean, yeah. But I liked their chemistry together. Are we talking about Gallo and Leo?
Yeah. So I mean, I like that they eventually like got along, especially when it gets to the fucking robot fight at the end. I just want to talk about the governor's like completely batshit plan where he's like, hey, the world's fucked because we can't fix the molten core. So we're gonna like take all the burning people, use them as an energy source to open up a portal so we could vacate the planet.
Well, the idea was that because he's a burnish too, he wanted to burn the Earth, but he also wanted to save humanity. because like he has a very powerful burnished soul inside of him. So his idea was, if I save some people and then burn the rest of it, it'll be fine. This is fine. So
I absolutely fucking loved how like 10 times they were like, if you have this, why don't you stop the magma? Like they said that like a bajillion times.
They did. It was obnoxious how many times they said it, because like, again, he knows that, but that's not the point. It's not what he wants to accomplish. He doesn't want to save everybody. He wants to burn the earth and save a chunk of people so he can be a hero. Like he says so himself.
Yeah, he wants to be the savior of humanity.
You don't need to have everybody go, why didn't you stop the magma, bro? Why did you stop the magma, bro?
Bro.
Come on, bro. And then the guy's like, shut up. Shut up. Oh my God, you annoying little shit. What the fuck? Why are you still alive? Jesus.
Oh my God.
I will say, I was really happy with how they fucking like nay-nayed the villains in the end.
Nay-nayed?
Yeah, like straight up, like fucking Gallo just punches the governor's lights out and goes, "I'm gonna save you too."
I love that. Yeah, that was pretty. Like,
I was like,
shut the fuck up! I'm gonna save the world, and then I'm gonna
sit there and shut up.
And then the guy, the prick,
the
Freeze Force was just a baby boy.
He's a little tiny guy.
Yeah,
tiny man in a big suit.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I gotta say, at that point when he was revealing his plan, I was already so far gone from so much. Like, I feel like, and then when they were like, also aliens, also burn the universe, also, I was just
also Sky Portal.
At that point, I was literally just so far gone. I was just like, you know what? Fine.
Sure.
Sure.
There's just a point in this movie where you have to kind of just like, all right, I'm in out.
Yeah, I gotta say.
I gotta tap out.
I'm like, I'm here for the long ride, so like I've made it this far.
Whatever crazy bullshit you want to throw, just do it.
I did love it though. I had a really fun time watching it. Like I gotta say, some of those battle sequences were so fucking fun. Like I love the scene where the main burnish guy turns into like a fire dragon, and the music that's like playing with it. I thought that was such a cool scene. Like I loved it. I thought just like the combination of the music and the visuals.
I love the like the ending fight where they get their giant combination robot where
Gurren Lagann 2.
It's such a Gurren Lagann robot. And like I love that Gallo is so like not into the fight because it's like this robot is lame. It's just like it doesn't inspire me. So like fucking Leo has to like
give me a boner.
It doesn't so Leo has to like use his burnish energy to give it like Gurren Lagann armor.
So flaccid.
And then I just love how Gallo, like every time they do something, he's like calling out an attack or he's naming his robot.
Well, that's very Gurren Lagann. And then I also said how like they write everything on the screen. They show everything, and that's very Kill la Kill.
And then just a part where he calls it, and it just the title falls on him.
Yeah. And I also love how the main robot they use to save the world is just called Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Like
that was funny.
Good job, Trigger.
I kind of died with this. I was like, of course, that's what it's called.
I was like, what else could it be?
Because like the fucking like professor guy that explains everything literally comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I love when the two
and
were
it's
like,
voiced by
like,
Mike Pollock.
I don't know who that is.
Who's that?
Dr. Eggman.
Oh. I just love when they were like, why'd you choose us? And he was like, I didn't.
You were the closest ones.
I like that too, yeah. They take the chosen one narrative and like the robot thing, they're just like, yeah, who gives a shit? You know what you're here for.
There's no grand destiny, you just happen to be here.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking anybody.
And they were like, and then I think someone even asked, what would have happened if we didn't show up?
We would have all died.
And he was like, well, I think the girl asked that, like, what would you have done?
He's like, we would have all died.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, yeah, pretty much.
Fucking died. Just some of that dialogue was pretty good.
Yeah, it's almost like I kind of would want to watch this in Japanese again just to see if like some of the jokes they make.
Well, I think the movie itself like knows it's just completely ridiculous, and so I think to me that made it more enjoyable.
I think the dub was probably pretty faithful thinking about it. Because like Deus Ex Machina is definitely in the original script, given that it shows up on screen as the typeset name.
Yeah,
So.
I can't imagine they changed. I mean, because they would show some stuff in Japanese and some stuff in English, so I think a lot of that was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in Kill la Kill, they would show it in English. And I don't know if that was because of the dubbers, but in Kill la Kill...
I think Japan has...
I mean, yeah, they're very English.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like English-heavy stuff over there.
Well, I think...
In English, it kind of peppers into the language.
You know how, like, here people get Chinese tattoos because they think it looks cool? I'm sure it's like over there, English looks cool.
Or how, like, English people just pepper Spanish into their
yeah, it's
language.
Just something you're not familiar with, so it looks cool. Like,
yeah, or something like that.
Sure, it was like that.
Right.
But also, pink-haired chick had a scientist sister who was working on the main thing, because why not?
Yeah.
I feel like that was those two characters were solely added just for personal stakes.
I was just like,
we need this one plot point to happen.
I did not give two shits about that scientist sister. I just did not care. Like, and then they tried to shoehorn in like, my sister, I'm worried. Oh, and I was just like, yeah, really.
And you
really
haven't shown
worried?
any major concern up until this point.
I feel like if you were really that worried, I don't know, man.
I would have taken more precautions, but.
Yeah. And she's like, I trusted you. And he was like, Wahaha. And I was like, seriously?
I'm outwardly evil now.
Murder people. Now you're concerned?
You knew it was going to happen.
God.
You've been in on this?
Yeah. Also, at the end of the movie, they were like going back through the characters and like showing off their names and who they were. And they showed the general's like secretary chick.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, she had a name? Like,
I guess so.
Okay.
They like named the mouse and just like all these like side characters. Like wouldn't even thought twice about what their actual names were.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's good to have the thought put into it.
Yeah. So movie is like, people are combusting. Let's make a firefighting force to combat the fire. Oh, burning people aren't actually that bad. Evil government trying to.
It's just
be crazy.
It is all kinds of just like Studio Trigger nonsense also in terms of story. Yeah. But honestly, I feel as the first attempt at a theatrical feature-length film, I think they did pretty well. Yeah, I think they were able to translate their just shenanigans from their TV outings and I'd almost say condense it into a smaller format, because obviously when you got an anime that's like 13 to 26 episodes long, you're condensing this down into an hour and a half. But condensing all that crazy into that kind of time frame, but also kind of like upping the production value in terms of like just the battle sequences and the effects. I always enjoy whatever Trigger puts out, and I was really glad we got to see this the way we did, because like you said, Nolan, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this nearly as much if I just watched it on my TV at home. I do think a lot of the fight scenes, there's like just the scale of it and so much going on that I think having on the big screen lets you take that all in. And if I saw the post correctly, I think it's in theaters nationwide. I mean, I'm sure it's still at select theaters, but originally Fathom only had like one night for the dub and one night for the sub. But I think starting this week, they're probably doing like a limited run. So if you haven't been able to see Promare, check your theaters. You might have it still. And if you
give those bitches some support.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the more people are able to see this, I mean, it's good for Trigger, because obviously Trigger has kind of been, I guess I don't know if they've like been hurting for money, because I know when they wanted to make Little Witch, they had to do a Kickstarter for the.
Well, I mean, they're just basically a starting company.
Yeah, they're just starting out.
Because they were. It was what people who worked for Gainax.
Yeah, and they left.
The company that did Evangelion, FLCL.
Yeah, they left to go make Trigger.
Because I think the big thing was that the working conditions were really bad.
Yeah,
probably it's an anime studio, so it's not
so. But I'm glad that these guys are making stuff that they like and making stuff that's like this, just visually. I don't know. It's like
Kill la Kill was a huge hit. I can't believe they'd be hurting for that much money.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I just think that their style is so unique. Because I've said to you before, Mel, because you watch a lot of you keep up with some of the current animes, and whenever I walk in and you watching it, I honestly can't tell most of them apart.
Yeah.
I could tell you that this is a studio trigger just from not just the character design, but just the way their cinematography works, the way
just add a little extra.
Yeah. I enjoy their style.
Yeah, you can tell a little bit of extra went into it.
Yeah.
Just with even the way their cheeks will bounce when they talk, and just little things like that.
Yeah, it's all this just little extra movement thrown in there just to give it just a little extra touch on there.
I am just always amazed at their perspectives, how they will show people, or when they were exaggerating a facial expression. It's always pushed more to the point where it's uncomfortable looking, but it works for them because it really gets the emotion across.
Yeah, especially when the governor finally reveals that he's an evil dickbag, especially when he opens his eyes and stuff, just a lot of his facial expressions are just really contorted and just constantly moving, and
love it. So I know you gotta watch Kill la Kill.
I do need to watch Kill la Kill all the way through.
Kill la Kill's really good.
I've seen the first 5 episodes, I think, and I just need to sit down and watch the rest of it.
Yeah, it's good.
And then there's that space something Luluco show that they made.
Space Patrol Luluco.
Yeah, there you go.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
I haven't even heard
it looks
of that.
Cute.
Is that new?
It came out a couple years ago.
Oh, I've never even heard of it.
It's a year or two old. I don't remember. Yeah.
Well, yeah, cool stuff. Oh, did you want to say something about the smooch?
Yeah, there's dude smooch.
Finally, gay representation in a trigger anime.
No, so we were saying we were very impressed because he was giving CPR to the main baddie guy. Well, he wasn't even bad.
Gal was giving CPR to Leo.
Because Leo was dying. And then afterwards, he started freaking out and be like, oh my gosh. But he was upset because...
Yeah, because I totally thought he was going to do the cliche thing where he gets up and I kissed a dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Oh my God, I started a fire. I'm a firefighter. Why did I do that? And it's wow. They just...
saving a human life than... No homo, bro.
Yeah, than worrying about his masculinity.
So we were both like, good job.
Good job, Japan.
Good job. Yeah, claps all around.
Yeah.
And now everyone ships them.
Oh, well, I'm sure they did before.
Yeah, definitely. They ship Satsuki and Ryuko, so...
Oh, but they're siblings.
Yeah, that won't stop them.
Gross.
So that doesn't stop anyone from shipping the Frozen sisters.
Yeah, that... You know what?
Familial bonds does not stop people.
Melanie, just let it go.
I'm walking away from this.
We can't let it go. Frozen 2 comes out in 2 months.
Oh, is that right? Comes out that soon?
In November.
Sweet. Guess what we're seeing?
I mean, it's Disney. We'll go see it.
We'll go see it.
Anyway. Nolan, is there anything else you wanted to say about this movie?
If you're a Trigger fan, you've seen it. If you are interested in Trigger's works, I'd say this is a great vertical slice about everything that makes Trigger appealing. Probably not a good movie for laymen. Maybe? I don't know. Might be a good gateway anime. There's not a lot of fan service in it.
I don't think it's a good gateway anime.
I think you have to... I feel like just because of how much banana shit happens in this, I feel like you have to have some kind of base knowledge of what anime is. I don't think I could take my dad to this and he'd be very confused.
Yeah. If you're an animation fan, though.
I think my dad would like it. He likes a couple animes I've shown him. I think this would be up his alley. He likes goofy, off the wall shit. So
I would love your dad to watch this. Your dad is the stuffiest, belongs in the 50s kind of guy.
He would straight up probably just walk out.
Probably. He would fall
Yeah,
asleep.
he likes to fall asleep in the movies.
But no, Mel, I totally agree that like even if you're just an animation fan, I think this is
Yeah.
worth checking out.
Agreed. I think
Just because from the colors, from the movement,
the
I think
production of it.
I think it's very well done.
Agreed. And I like
the worst looking part of it is the CGI, but
which
otherwise
honestly,
everything else looks good.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
I think the CGI, the way
At
they did
first.
the CGI was fine because it's all cell shaded.
Yeah.
It kind of like fits in there. And I
With
almost kind of liked how in the beginning they kind of do like close ups on the background and scenery, and I like how a lot of it is like almost like flat textures. Like a lot of like the trees and the fences are all just like flat 2D planes.
I was gonna say at first I was really turned off, and I was like, "Oh, this looks terrible." But then as we started watching the movie, and as things started getting cuckoo, I was just like, "All right, I'm."
I liked it because
the city looks terrible. Like they should have gone back and like maybe rendered the city a bit differently. Not like as different like engine, not like a different style per se, but like I don't know the way the city looks. It looks bad. Like
I honestly don't mind the more simplistic cityscape because I feel like because there's so much action going on and there's just so much detail put into that, I feel like if you're putting more detail into the background, I feel it would distract from the motion. So I almost wonder if they kept the background simple on purpose.
That's what I was gonna say. I would agree because I gotta say, like, I hardly looked at the city.
Because our eyes are always on the action, so it's like the background almost.
Even still, there's like a 2 to 3 minute establishing like montage of the city, and it looks bad.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
That's what I said. At first, I was like, oh.
I feel like I'll give you that. I feel like if they're going to like bring attention to the background, maybe touch it up a bit, but like during those action sequences, they want to like simplify it down. I'm totally for that. But I can agree with that.
Part, but that establishing montage was awful. It was so bad. I was like, you guys wanted to show us this, huh? The same and I get some of it was just for lore purposes, like seeing rows and rows and rows of fire hydrants, like goes to show how paranoid the city is, etc. But I was just like, y'all, this ain't it, chief.
Yeah. If you got an opportunity to see this, go see it. I don't know when it'll be on DVD and Blu-ray. I'm sure sometime in the next few months. So if you don't have a chance to see it in the theaters, I definitely recommend checking it out then. Like I said, if you're a fan of animation, if you're a fan of Trigger or whatever, it's beautiful. It's crazy.
It's pretty. The colors I thought were just well chosen. I wanted to say really quick that I really enjoyed that. Like, it would be cool to go in and freeze frame it because I love how the fire was made up of like very geometrical shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch that interview afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, watching the interview.
I had picked up on that, which I thought was genius of them because they were like, well, let's make the fire with these crazy geometric shapes so that it kind of feels otherworldly and not organic. And I was like, and then they were so smart because they were like, but then when you see it from far away, it looks like fire.
Right.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah. So there's a lot of thought put into this. So, well, unless either of you guys have anything else you want to say.
Nope.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. There's our review of Promare. Go check it out. It's a good one.
It's a good time to be had.
Yes.
Dude, how about you drop some acid before you go see it?
I think you might have a heart attack.
You'd probably
die.
Yeah. I say.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here today, and thank you everyone out there for listening. And we'll catch you all again next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.